All right, my next guest picked up a round one anaconda choke victory over Nick Maximov this past Saturday at UFC Vegas 54. And of course, it is Andre Petroski back on the show. Andre, how you doing?
Doing well. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, great to have you back. And first, I want to start with, I feel like your performance was performance bonus worthy, and you didn't get one. Did that kind of sting a little bit? Because I feel like you probably should have got that bonus.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously I'm biased, but I think just from being, the biggest underdog on the card, that alone, and getting the finish so quickly against an undefeated guy, I think all those factors alone deserve a bonus. I think that being the first fight of the night definitely was not to my advantage as far as getting a bonus goes.
Yeah, I mean, Manuel Torres' performance over Camacho, that was nice. I mean, Ryan Spann had a big win over Cutelaba, but as you said, I mean, Maximov was undefeated, and you look fantastic in there, man. I think it's safe to say that this has to be the biggest win of your career, and you called it. You told me before the fight that you're going to finish him early. Was there something that you saw watching tape that kind of led you to believe that you're going to get him out of there quick, or did you just feel like, overall your skill set was just going to be too much for his?
I just knew that he likes to shoot, especially head outside singles. And I know how good my front headlock is comparatively to better grapplers than he is.
And I wanted to get your take too, because you said post-fight interview, you locked up the sub before you went to crank it. Usually you crank it first and then relock. Why was it different this time? Can you just kind of explain that?
So usually I'll try to roll him first. I'll flip him over first. And then when he's on his side, then I'll relock it, because I find it easier to get it tight once they're on their side. When they're on all fours, it's easier to keep your elbows out, and it makes it harder to lock it up. But he didn't really defend it very well. He wasn't pushing on the hips or circling away. He kind of just let me crank him up. So I was still able to get the finish.
Yeah. And so you actually knew he was out before the ref knew he was out. Is that just a situation where maybe the angle the ref was at, he wasn't where he needed to be to see Nick?
Yeah, I don't know. I felt him reach for my hands to break the lock, and then he kind of just let go. And that's when I realized he was out. And I said it at least once or twice until finally the ref stepped in.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I actually love that sportsmanship on your part to acknowledge that and make sure that, the ref knows that before he clearly did. You talked about it earlier, Andre, the biggest underdog on the card, which I don't know, that seemed a little crazy to me. I felt like this was a little bit closer of a matchup for sure than the betting odds were. But did this give you extra motivation? Did this kind of tick you off going into this fight?
It's a great position to be in, honestly. Especially I believe in my ability so much. So I don't really doubt myself. Riley, you want to say hi?
Hi, Riley.
Show him your shirt. Her shirt says "Possible isn't real."
Oh, that's adorable. She's 3, right?
She'll be 3 in August. Sorry about that.
It's all good, man. I actually saw your post-fight interview backstage after you were talking with all the other reporters that were there, and she had FaceTimed you while you were doing an interview there. What can you just kind of put into words of what it means for you to have this family and to have this beautiful little daughter, to be able to share that moment with her on such a big stage?
Yeah, it's awesome. She definitely changed my life for sure. For the best thing that ever happened to me. But yeah, it's cool, man. She's the one person in my life where I feel she loves me regardless of winning or losing. You know what I mean? Not that the people in my life don't still support me if I lose, but that's just how I feel,
That's awesome, man. Well, she's adorable. So that's fantastic to see. I see that you did talk to Nick a little bit afterwards. Can you just run me through what was said, like what you guys actually exchanged there?
Nothing. He just congratulated me and said all respect, no bad blood. And I kind of, I didn't have any gripe with it. I think the business was settled for sure. At least on my end, it was.
All right. Fair enough. And 14-0 now for Renzo Gracie Philly, 9-0 inside of the UFC. You guys are just such a fantastic gym. And I feel like you should get a little bit more, hype around you. Do you feel like this is starting to get to the point now where you're going to be one of those gyms that people are talking about more often?
Yeah, I would hope so. So we're 14-0 in the UFC. There's 4 of us in the UFC. We're 14-0 with 9 finishes. So between me, Pat Sabatini, Sean Brady, obviously, and Jeremiah Wells fights next month. That's June 19th in Austin, Texas. He fights Court McGee. So our team's doing big things. We're winning fights and we're getting finishes. That's what's important.
Are you starting to notice more and more people like want to try to get in there and be on the fight team? How does that work if there's someone that's legit has the credibility and they want to get in there and work with you guys?
Yeah, no doubt. Reach out to us for sure. But, at this point, it's not a secret anymore. Like if you want to be a world champion, like this is the place you want to come to train.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. You did say too, Andre, that, you don't want to be sitting long again. 6 months, it's way too long for you to be inactive here. Called out GM3 in Singapore 3 weeks from now. Has he responded? Is that something that could be in the works?
Well, no, he picked, he's fighting Bruno Silva, I think. They just announced it, but he said he would do like July or August. I wanted to do, I'm sorry, no. He's fighting in July or August. He said he would be open to it in the future, but obviously I'm not getting that fight right now.
There's a London card too, right? So you could jump on that one. Any prospects there? Anyone come to mind?
No, I would have to sit down with my coaches and see, but I love like to be on the London pay-per-view card would be incredible. I would assume that that Patty Pimlet would be on it. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna say I'm like the biggest fan of him in general, but I like when I heard like the crowd when he came out in the O2 Arena, I was like, hell yeah, that's something I want to be a part of. Like I want to see, like I want to experience that,
Yeah, 1,000%. I can't imagine. So are you one of those fighters too that you feed off of that crowd energy? Like, are you going to be?
The Apex was so weird, man. Like walking out there, like it was my 4th time fighting there, but this time it was just like, I felt like there was no adrenaline. I don't know. I did at the, like, obviously when I got to finish, I had adrenaline, but walking out was weird. It's weird with not fans, with no fans.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, UFC 275, there is one middleweight bout on that card, Brendan Allen, Jacob Malkoun. If one of those guys were to fall out, do you like either of those matchups for yourself? How do you think you match up with either of those guys?
What was the
It's Brendan Allen and Jacob Malkoun.
And what's the date or location?
So that's 275. That would be in Singapore.
Oh yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, Singapore. That's like, I heard that place is beautiful. I mean, everyone talks about Abu Dhabi, but a lot of people talk about Singapore being a very beautiful place. And yeah, I like, I think I know who Malkoun is. Obviously, I know who Brendan Allen is. But I've definitely watched, I'm pretty sure I watched Jacob Malkoun fight. Who was his last fight against?
Oh man, you had to ask me. I know he's over there in Australia. He's training with Robert Whitaker. I can't remember off the top of my head who his last fight is though.
That was his debut, UFC debut, right? It was on the Whitaker card.
No, I think he's had 2 or 3 fights now. I could look it up and double check. I'm a lot more familiar with Brendan Allen. Obviously, now he's down at Sanford MMA. I've interviewed him a bunch back in the day, and that's a guy who's coming along too. He's had a couple of losses, but how do you feel you match up with either of these guys? Do you like?
terrible style for Brendan Allen. I think that I could see us fighting for sure in the future. Like maybe as soon as this year. I'm definitely open to that matchup. But no, like, don't get it wrong. Like he's a tough dude. He's definitely a good fighter, but I think he loses to a wrestler. And the guys that are going to beat him are a lot of wrestlers.
Yeah, I totally see what you're coming from there. Yeah, Malkoun's last fight was a UD win over AJ Dobson. That was on the Adesanya Whitaker card. Before that, he beat Abdul Razak Al Hassan and then lost to Phil Hawes. So he has had a few fights in the UFC. So I'm sure you've seen a little bit of his style. Do you feel you match up well with him?
I would have to go back and look at it. I can't say that I remember his fight on that Whitaker. I remember seeing him, but I don't remember watching him fight, to be honest.
Okay, fair enough. Well, I can't wait to see you back in there, Andre, whenever it is. Hopefully it's again very, very soon, and you're going to get back in there and maybe get that performance bonus that you should have got this last time with the win over Nick. Great talking to you again, man. Before I do let you go, I want to give you the floor. Please tell people where they can follow you on social media. If you have anyone to thank, the floor is yours.
Yeah, so check out my team for sure. Daniel Gracie, Henzo Gracie, Philly. And check out Jeremiah. He fights Father's Day weekend in Texas. But you can follow me at Andre Petroski on Instagram and Petroski Andre on Twitter.